So progressives have been calling out the Lincoln Project after scores of Republicans decided to vote for Donald Trump in this election. So obviously, we knew a lot of Republicans were going to vote for Donald Trump, but it appears that even more Republicans voted for Donald Trump than last time. In fact, according to exit polls, a greater percentage of self-identified Republicans voted this year, to elect Donald Trump than supported him in the presidential election 4 years ago. So we've got some numbers here. So last time, 90% of self-identified Republicans supported Donald Trump's election campaign. Now that number has gone up to 93%. 93. So actually, so despite the protestations and declarations of never Trump Republicans and constant headlines about, we're going to have these Donald Trump these never Trump Republicans, they're such a big force, they're going to really really help with the turnout. They're going to help get Joe Biden elected. That's why we can't, of course, nominate somebody like Bernie Sanders, because we have never Trump Republicans that will not vote for somebody who's too far to the left. So we have to stay with somebody like Joe Biden. How did that turn out? Kind of poorly, actually. Super poorly. As I said before, 93%. He increased the share of Republicans. And not only that, but he also increased the share of votes. So now he's got even more votes than he did before. It's insane. It's utterly insane. It's crazy. So now, that said, Lincoln Project. How much money did they spend trying to court these never Trump Republicans? Well, they spent, according to the Center for Responsive Politics, the Lincoln Project raised more than $67 million in 2020 and spent over $59 million in federal elections this year. The same time period, Republican voters against Trump raised nearly $10 million and spent almost $7.5 million, with, as I said, no result at all. A comparison of exit polls from Tuesday night 4 years ago again shows that you had increased turnout of Republicans for Donald Trump. So what happened? Well, I can tell you what happened. Republicans love Donald Trump. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's look, Donald Trump has gotten Republicans their Supreme Court picks. They raised they cut taxes on the rich, which they of course falsely sell as something that's going to help them. And more importantly, they have been brutal to regular people. They've been brutal not only to regular people when it comes to healthcare, but they're also brutal to immigrants. It doesn't matter that they didn't actually build the wall. What matters is that they're brutal to immigrants. And so it's not a surprise that Republicans went Republican. And look, I know there was a lot of hay that was made about this, these anti-Trump, never Trump groups. What now? What now? Look, it turns out that you have a lot of progressives that were right, myself included, Anna Kasparian, David Sirota, Andrew Perez. A lot of us were right when we said this is nothing more than a grift. It's nothing more than a right-wing grift. And this time, instead of grifting their own, Republicans said, hey, I've got a great idea. Let's go and grift liberals. And that's exactly what happened. And they were 100% successful. They got tons and tons of money for literally no result. In fact, maybe the result that they were looking for is weakening the Democratic Party. I mean, especially as they try, as you have the left flank that is trying to get the Democratic Party to go progressive. I mean, as a result, you have not only Bernie Sanders repudiated and the Sanders wing, but you also have weak Joe Biden, who was likely to become president. And then you also had a lot of losses. Mitch McConnell is still there. Lindsey Graham is still there. There's a runoff between Ossoff and Perdue. And so you have the Senate that's likely going back to the Republicans. And Democrats have lost seats in the House. Absolute disaster. Vitale added that the whole drift to the right strategy was a 100% failure. And that's because we know who Republicans are. Now, the Democrats, why do they continue to do this? It's the money, of course. Look, the Democrats should be embracing their own base. They should be embracing single-payer health care as the voters want, the public, even a public option to start out with. But we should definitely be going to Medicare for all. And then try to, Green New Deal. It's another good idea. But they're not going in that direction. Again, we see from Joe Biden, let's have some bipartisanship. Ridiculous. That's who, again, we know who Republicans are. Unfortunately, it's the Democrats who continue to not accept who the Republicans actually are and to futilely try to reach out to them over and over again just to get slapped in the face. You might start to think that maybe they're doing this on purpose because no one is that stupid. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.